All Hallows Eve, the evening all your nightmares come to life. All the creatures of the night come out to play. It's time to pay tribute to this terrifying month. So join us as we celebrate a sinister season. This is the Venomonth of Horrors. The Reboot.
Rob, how does it feel to be back?
It was alright.
Does that mean you're actually going to stick around this time?
What was that?
Nothing. So Venomonth finale.
You know, I'm actually 53 episodes into the 1001. I mean, that's not bad.
Well, actually, it's pretty poor. It's only like 5%.
Just don't really know how to end this.
How about The Exorcist?
The Exorcist?
Yeah. The scariest movie of all time.
I mean, is it really that scary, though?
Percy's cowering in a cupboard somewhere because of it.
Is the demon gone yet? Did it scare you?
Well, of course not. I'm Chandler Canterbury. I have testicles.
Yeah. I can watch The Exorcist. No movie's too scary for me. I'm cinematic Venom, goddammit!
Yeah, you better like it this time. You got a lot of old opinions to make up for.
The Exorcist is often regarded as the scariest movie ever made, and based on the sheer impact it made on the horror genre, it's not particularly hard to see why. It was the first ever horror movie to be nominated for Best Picture, and when adjusted for inflation, it is the highest grossing R-rated movie in history. But it was also banned in several countries across the world, to the point people would have to travel across towns just to be able to see it. One fan actually passed out from shock in the cinema and broke his jaw on the seat in front and sued the filmmakers. I feel like they should sue him for being a dumbass.
I didn't know that.
Based on the William Peter Blatty novel of the same name, who also wrote the screenplay, the story was inspired by the supposed real-life exorcism of a boy in Missouri called Roland, or as we'd later find out, he was really called Ronald, a young child who showed signs of aggression and extremely alarming behaviour. He was genuinely believed to have been possessed by a demon, to the point an actual exorcism was administered, with many witnesses testifying that he showed signs of supernatural possession.
As to how or why, we really don't know.
Originally, Arthur Penn, Stanley Kubrick and Mike Nichols were all approached to direct, but they all turned it down, leading to William Friedkin taking on the job. He had dinner plans one day when he was presented with the novel. He flicked through a couple of pages and ended up missing the entire dinner as he was far too engrossed in the book. The book changed the child's age and gender, but director Friedkin wanted to actually keep the movie as close to the real life events of Roland as possible and not necessarily the book, only using parts that were verified by those actually involved in the case, despite not fully believing the entire story himself.
I beg your pardon?
Though William Blatty believed Friedkin misunderstood the most famous part of the book. Some accounts do actually state Roland's head twisted all the way around, but when writing the novel, Blatty implied it nearly spun the entire 180 degrees, while Friedkin went all out because, man, it looks sick!
That's important.
Blatty also made many other changes to his original work. Several characters such as Buck Dennings, a director who Reagan yeets down the stairs in the film's first act, had their screen time significantly cut down. This fella should definitely be in more of the movie. He's so creepy just following people around, little creepo.
There seems to be an alien pubic hair in my gin. Bloody damn butchering Nazi pig. You never went bowling with Goebbels either, I suppose, eh?
And there was originally a lot more build-up to Reagan's possession, which didn't actually happen until a good way into the book. The studio originally wanted Marlon Brando as the part of Father Merrin, but Friedkin refused, claiming that the film would then become all about him. Audrey Hepburn was then considered for the part of the child's mother, but she was living in Italy at the time with her husband and would only agree if it could be shot there. But it would have proven to have been far too expensive. offensive. But Friedkin deliberately tormented the cast to get the best reactions out of them. He would yank them around in harnesses and sometimes slapped cast members to garner the correct emotion, or fire guns on set to get a true sense of shock. Ellen Burstyn, who played Reagan's mother Chris, actually suffered a permanent spinal injury because of this treatment.
I see.
Linda Blair was cast as the Demon Girl, as she was the only one they found who was old enough to handle the graphic material, but also looked younger than she actually was for the part. She was nominated for an Oscar for her performance, but after she was nominated, it was revealed that the voice of the demon wasn't actually her. It was voiced by Mercedes McCambridge, and a prosthetic head was used instead of the actress for a lot of it, causing a bit of an uproar over her nomination. However, at that point, it couldn't be retracted, though it may have been a contributing factor to her not winning. In fact, the movie was so controversial, director George Cukor threatened to resign from working for the Academy if it won Best Picture.
Oh, I heard differently.
In fact, initially Mercedes McCambridge didn't want to be credited, but once the film came out and Linda Blair was praised for her portrayal, she changed her mind and sued them for not giving her the correct recognition. Linda Blair even received death threats as the public believed this movie was glorifying the devil.
Jesus Christ!
It certainly worked, as the movie was a massive hit, causing huge controversy considering its subject matter, especially for its time. Many calling it disgusting filth, while others considered it an original scary story. And The Exorcist solidified itself in the history of horror. The movie has this creepy atmospheric opening in Iraq, and don't get me wrong, it's creepy and sets the tone really well. Even when nothing of note is being shown or said, it's mesmerizing to look at, and the cinematography is great.
Look, I won a coin, a gold coin.
How did he not hear that horse coming? And why does the old lady look like she enjoyed nearly killing a person? Sick bitch.
Oh, is that funny?
Anyway, what exactly is the point of this entire sequence? If you remove it from the film, nothing changes. Father Merrin, played by Max von Sydow, discovers an ancient relic of the demon Pazuzu. Even though Pazuzu is a real mythological creature and the statue is him, the movie doesn't actually outright say its name. The screenplay does, but it's never spoken out loud by a character until the sequel. That's supposedly the demon that's possessing Reagan, which is very weird because it also claims to be the devil.
And I'm the devil.
Your daughter doesn't say she's a demon, she says she's the devil himself.
But Pazuzu and the devil are two different entities.
Try not to worry.
But after this big opening, it cuts to Reagan and her mum in the United States, and it's never mentioned again. We're to assume the Pazuzu relic somehow ends up in Reagan's house, but it's never acknowledged. She just finds a Ouija board.
You been playing with it?
Yep.
You know how?
I'll show you.
The 70s. When a demonic game for possessing demons is considered a fun family board game.
Great so.
And all of a sudden, weird demonic shit starts to happen. Then Father Merrin shows up at the end to help the other priest out, Father Karras, played by Jason Miller, but that could have been achieved without the opening. Just have him appear as the older veteran to help the case. The entire Iraq sequence is pointless.
Oh, that's about half an hour. So nice. Oh, I loved it.
But hey, let's give John Carpenter some more material to completely rip off and try to take credit for. And they kind of created the cliche of the child having an imaginary ghost friend.
Captain Howdy said no.
It's never mentioned again though. One thing is, this film has a lot going on. We have the opening with Iraq. Reagan's dad has done a runner. Her mum is an actress. She likes a guy. And that's just in the first 25 minutes! Father Karras has an old mum who kicks the bucket. He also used to be a boxer. Then Reagan goes on the rag and becomes a demon, so he has to sort her out. A lot happens in this movie. And somehow it still works. Reagan's mum thinks she hears rats in the attic.
Smells nice.
You know what, there's a very effective jump scare, I can't lie. No sound effects, no music, just boom, it's quite realistic. Though she never questions, well, if you don't have rats, what the fuck was that noise then?
Can you feel this?
I don't feel anything.
Oh hey, it's me to my therapist.
You just take your pills and you'll be fine, really.
Hey! Wait, it is my therapist! The transition of Reagan is really slow and smooth. It's not rushed, it takes its time, and it's so creepy. In fact, when Linda Blair first cursed in front of the other actors, they actually forgot their lines because they were so disturbed by her performance.
She advised me to keep my fingers away from her. Goddamn cunt.
She said the word cunt and you're laughing? What kind of mother is this? There's a scene where her mum is having a get-together and everyone is all happy and singing, but Reagan shows up and urinates on the floor. The thing is, it is so uncomfortable and uneasy. It is really creepy. One part dropped from the book is that the demon actually shit itself and had to wear diapers. I am not kidding. Yeah, such a shame that that was cut out. That might make it look a bit silly.
What for?
The movie is great at showing the realism of the situation. It very rarely has music. It just lets the scene itself captivate you without the need of a score. And now I see how annoying it is in real life when I deny supposed evidence.
I got on the bed. The whole bed was thumping and rising off the floor and shaking. The whole thing. With me on it.
Mrs. McNeil, the problem with your daughter is not her bed.
The whole bed was shaking! What do you mean?
Pathological states can induce abnormal strength, accelerated motor performance. For example, say a 90-pound woman sees her child pinned under the wheel of a truck, runs out and lifts the wheels a half a foot up off the ground. You've heard the story. Same thing here.
But she was on the bed! What are you on about?
It just doesn't happen anymore, Miss McNeil.
Oh, yes? Since when?
Well, since we learned about mental illness, paranoia, schizophrenia, all those things they taught me at Harvard.
Yeah, he's right. Ghosts aren't real. I mean, this looks a bit silly, and her reactions are kind of funny. You can't win them all. But then it is immediately followed with... Jesus Christ!
Fuck me! Fuck me!
And we're back. It goes back and forth between terrifying and ridiculous in a nanosecond. I mean, she grabs his dick, and it's really creepy, and then we get this close-up of his mug. Looks like something out of Monty Python. There are some weird and lazy edits that look like they were just thrown in at the last minute. They don't really add anything and just look cheap. When Burke ends up dead, for some reason the police never turn up to investigate or anything. But this is terrifying. The movie is great at giving us calm and peaceful moments before saying, "Ah, no, fuck you, have some evil."
Too much evil.
Is there someone inside you?
Sometimes.
Who is it?
Jimmy Savile. Weirdly, the book actually left it open to interpretation whether Reagan is actually possessed or not. Though many of the same grotesque actions take place, it's never confirmed whether or not she's really possessed by the devil or is simply suffering from a severe mental illness. In fact, the final showdown between Father Karras and Reagan happened off-screen in the book, as that scene was shown from Chris's point of view, who was listening in from outside the bedroom door, adding to the speculation of whether or not she was actually under the devil's influence.
Excuse me, madam.
What?
I meant to see you.
The door literally knocked 0.2 seconds ago. How did you open it and talk to him in that time? It gets so intense and so disturbing. I can't even show the full scene on YouTube, but she fucks herself with a crucifix and then teabags her mum. There's no music and it is so messed up. And surprisingly, this was the toned down version from the book.
You want to loosen the straps, huh?
Yeah, she can levitate the bed and move furniture around the room, but she can't unstrap herself.
If you're the devil, why not make the straps disappear?
That's much too vulgar a display of power, Karras.
Not really explaining it, but alright.
Your mother's in here with us, Karras. Would you like to leave a message?
Satan's turned into a 10-year-old boy, even when he vomits on him.
Then you must know my mother's maiden name. What is it?
But why doesn't the devil know his mum's maiden name? He knows everything else.
Look, I'm only against the possibility of doing your daughter more harm than good.
Nothing you could do could make it any worse.
Just wait for the sequels. Ellen Burstyn does a great job in this film as Reagan's mum. You really do feel her mental breakdown throughout the movie, and you truly sense her struggle. There is a clever moment where Father Karras pretends some water is holy and the demon gets hurt to prove it's a hoax, which is why he can't exorcise her. But he clearly has enough evidence without that, so he could still do it. And why does the demon fall for the fake holy water anyway? This fake out is never explained. Mercedes McGainbridge does an amazing job with the voice. It is eerie as hell. Initially it was going to be Linda Blair's voice enhanced, but it didn't really work for the more dramatic scenes, so it was changed, and I am so glad it was. She has some seriously chilling vocal cords. She also supposedly speaks Latin, but it turns out she's actually just speaking English backwards. They really do lean into her faking the entire thing. This is really creepy as to see a message from Reagan, but how the fuck does the devil himself not know when someone else is in the room? Why does the devil need sleep? The exorcism is so messed up and I love it. And now she decides she can unstrap herself before entering a Michael Jackson music video. The makeup and whole design of this demon is incredible. They outdid themselves here. And she even uses the voice of the priest's mother. Jesus Christ. I love Father Karras's arc too. He's lost his mum and feels completely misguided. It's like this exorcism is all he has left. He owes it to this woman to save her child. But the other fella, considering he's the older one, is a bit of a dumbass who continues the exorcism alone. Why does this evil demon look like a dog who's just wrecked a room and is trying to act innocent? You just killed a man! Father Karras sacrifices himself, allows the demon to take him over so he can jump out the window and die, which somehow kills the demon. And that epic and serious moment is completely ruined by...
Do you want to make a confession?
That really just happened.
She doesn't remember any of it.
Until the sequel. There's also this guy who's in some desperate need of friendship. He just keeps going around begging people to go to the cinema with him.
I get passes to the best shows in town. I got a pass to the Crest tomorrow night. Would you like to go? I hate to go alone. You know, I love to talk, film.
Will someone give this poor man a hug? The Exorcist is absolutely incredible. Yes, some parts I don't think have aged very well and come across more goofy than scary, but for the most part, it is absolutely terrifying. Brilliantly acted and written, tremendously shot, it is a chilling story for sure. Is it the scariest movie of all time? Well, we've got plenty more Venom months to try and find out.